Our journey begins at Yarramundi Reserve near Richmond, where the Nepean and Govert rivers merge to become the Hawkesbury River. The Hawkesbury is fed by numerous mountain streams and small rivers in a catchment area the size of Wales. Its waters irrigate the fertile floodplains around the towns of Richmond and Windsor. And by the time it reaches nearby North Richmond, it has become a wide, strongly flowing river. When white settlement began in Sydney, there was no reliable supply of water or arable land, and the early explorers sailed up the Hawkesbury and discovered its natural wealth. The towns of Richmond and Windsor were settled in 1794 and soon became the granary and food bowl of Sydney. Windsor was built on the banks of the river, and as a result you can see today the sturdy levee banks that have been constructed to protect the town from floods. Along the river there are small historical settlements which are still there today. The Australiana pioneer village at Wilberforce is a reconstruction of a 19th century Australian settlement. Australia's oldest surviving church and school was built not far away in Ebenezer in 1809, and among the many old graves is that of Thomas Hall, breeder of the famous Blue Heeler cattle dog. We drove on to Sackville, where we made our first river crossing. There are actually 5 ferry crossings on the river. They are free, very efficient, and very relaxing. As we approached Wisemans Ferry, we stopped at Hawkins Lookout and took in the grand view of the river. The village of Wisemans Ferry takes its name from Solomon Wiseman, who was known as the King of the Hawkesbury. In 1827 he established the first ferry service for the growing colony. The old inn and home of the Wisemans is now a welcoming pub and an old Australian-style hotel. It also houses a small museum which gives a real insight into life in the early days of the settlers. No visit to Wisemans is complete until you visit the local historical cemetery, which is situated on the banks of the river. Prominent amongst the graves is the final resting place of Solomon Wiseman himself and his wife Jane. Leaving Wisemans, we deviated through the Forgotten Valley, following the MacDonald River to the little town of St Albans. Life for the 300 residents of the village centres around the historic Settlers Arms Inn. This is the perfect day trip or weekend bush getaway for Sydney-siders. Our journey is winding down when we stop for jam and scones at Spencer, the hub of the universe. It's situated on the junction of the Mangrove Creek and Hawkesbury River and is one of the most charming towns in the state. Finally we drive for home, passing through Mooney with its wide view across the river to Brooklyn. Brooklyn has been a favourite of ours for many years. And from here visitors can travel on Australia's only riverboat postal delivery service. It's a great trip. Well, the river has almost run its course to the sea, so we farewell the Hawkesbury and head for home till we meet again.